Hey guys, I'm Alan. This is my buddy Donny, and we're talking about his Indian land speed racer that he's just finished up.
It's basically a replica of the 50th anniversary bike that Polaris did to celebrate the famous run of Burt Munro.
So Burt Munro, for you guys that aren't initiated, you should be. Go watch World's Fastest Indian, the movie with Anthony Hopkins, and read up on Burt Munro. Everyone knows about him, it seems like, but he was kind of a legend who in the 50s and 60s, or really more so in the 50s, I think is when he went to Bonneville from New Zealand, and land speed raced his custom Indian from the 20s and managed to set a land speed record on a 1000cc and under motorcycle. I think it was 186 or something.
Yep.
186, which was incredible, and that record still stands today.
That's correct.
For his class, right?
That's correct.
And then these guys went with a bike that was similar to this out of the modern Indian Scout, right? And then set a speed record, but for 1350cc. Partially streamlined, a different class.
Right. At El Mirage. I was out working with Danny Thompson with the Challenger 2 crew at the Bonneville Salt Flats in 2017, and Indian was, they were pitted kind of across from us at the Salt Flats, and the photographer for the Danny Thompson crew, she's like, hey, I want to introduce you. This is actually Holly Martin. She's like, I want to introduce you to somebody. So I walked over there and I got to meet John Munro, which was Burt Munro's son, and then Lee. And that's when I first saw the bike, and I absolutely fell in love with it. And I thought, I talked to Polaris that was there, and they basically, I was like, hey, are you guys going to make this a production bike? Is this kind of the future, with Indian? And they said, no, this is a one-off bike. We're not going to produce it, so forth. And I'd made up my mind I want one. Like I've got to have one.
Build one.
I can build one. Starting the build, finding the suppliers as far as the fairing, the wheels, and different stuff like that. That was fairly easy. But the fabrication part, I realized that there's no way I could do.
Some of it was just too. Yeah, I'm with you.
And a lot of it was from pictures.
Replicate.
Right.
Yeah,
right.
yeah.
So I knew you guys absolutely had the talent, to do it.
So you started with a base factory Scout, brand new?
Brand new.
And talk to me about the build. Like, what was the most challenging bit? Yeah.
So the build basically, Wayne Colden is the lead guy on the original bike, and Wayne was awesome. He's like, hey, I'll help you any way that I can. I think it's a neat project. I think it's awesome that you're inspired. A lot of things we did by photo.
But he gave you tips at least in some
He absolutely did.
Yeah.
The project as a whole, it's pretty overwhelming. So I just took it a piece at a time, basically, and I said, okay, I'm going to focus on the rear sprocket or the rear wheel. I'm going to focus on the triple tree.
I see you've got a Roland Sands design.
Absolutely.
I've never heard of him. Is he,
Right.
Is he big?
Right.
Yeah. Okay.
Right. So I originally contacted them. I said, hey, I'm building this project. They're like, oh yeah, I'm familiar. I'm the guy that actually they dealt with in doing the original wheels. But the design was actually through Indian. So I had to get permission through Indian to actually make the wheels, or allow them to
get Roland to cut them.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
And then did same thing when Indian did their version. Did they? I see you used another fuel tank.
That's right.
Did they do this as well?
They did. That's right.
Okay.
So it took me a while to figure out how they did a lot of the things on it, but just stare at it long enough, and then eventually you kind of figure out, okay, this is what we got.
Yeah, I'm with you.
Same thing, like with the fairing, Airtech, excuse me. I'd called them. It's the Hayabusa fairing for land speed racing.
Really?
Yeah. So I called them, and just by luck of chance, it was the same guy that had helped Indian.
Oh.
And he's like, yeah, I'm real familiar with this,
Which part did we do?
You guys did the brackets, the shifting linkage, the exhaust, which turned out fantastic.
Yeah, that's really cool.
You guys mounted the front fender.
Right.
You guys also came up with, I wanted to change, the original bike was built, volunteer crew, and they did fantastic. But I wanted to do a few things different, hide a few things, and you guys helped with that. You guys came up with the design to follow this line and make this real sleek and kind of blend it all in real nice. And it turned out fantastic.
It does look good.
It turned out fantastic.
I like the transition to the black and then going directly to the, burgundy or maroon or whatever you call it.
The original bike, they switched things. The gas tank's no longer the gas tank. They switched a few things, but I wanted this one not quite as extreme as what they're shooting for. Their goals were 200 miles an hour. My goal is 150. So
150. All right. So your gear ratios and all that, you've done the math. You think it'll get there no problem?
I think it's pretty close. I haven't run it exactly. I think it's pretty close.
All right. So when are you going to run it?
I'm going to run it at the Texas Mile. So I can't.
Okay.
I can't take it to Bonneville. When I originally talked to Indian about the build, the other bike's still relevant. It still does world tours. It's still, it's still very relevant. That was part of the agreement.
That you wouldn't take it to Bonneville?
That's right. I would love to take it to do some photo stuff and stuff like that. I would love to take the bike to Bonneville or El Mirage. Either one would be.
Do it. Let's do it.
Pretty awesome.
Let's make it happen. Well, we get some riding footage.
Yeah, that'd be pretty awesome. Yeah.
I haven't even heard it run. I can't hear it run.
It sounds good. I like
I
it.
bet. Well, it's got open pipeline.
Yeah, it sounds good. And I think it's just over 100 horsepower, so it's all right.
Plenty.
It's not right. It's not
Plenty. Compared to, if you were to say that to Burt Munro, it's only got 100 horsepower. You'd be like, are you kidding? Right?
Right.
Compared to what he started with.
Right.
I was going to ask this again. What was the most challenging bit, you think, like from your perspective? Was it the tail, or was it the fairing, or?
I think there was a ton of luck involved with it. There was phone calls where it just happened to be the right person, or it happened to be the right person that was involved with the original build. Had those very lucky circumstances not happen, like trying to get the stickers for this.
I was wondering about the graphics, yeah.
Right, the one-off graphics, how am I going to get these? And a guy happened to have the cell number to the guy that originally designed the graphics. And I messaged the guy that did the original graphics, and super nice guy. He's like, yeah, sure, you want the left side, right side, how big do you want it? So he'd asked, hey, who do you have painting this bike? And I had no clue at the time. And he says, hey, I tell you what, let me see if I can get the original crew together that painted the original bike, and possibly you can bring it back to the factory, or we should paint it the other one and paint your bike.
Okay.
And my hair caught on fire. I couldn't believe it. I was like,
oh, wow.
This is unbelievable. Like, what's the chance that that this might happen?
Right.
And sure enough, they agreed to paint it.
That's great. It is a great paint job. I wanted to know who did it.
Yeah, it was.
So Indian did it.
Indian did it. That's right.
Wow, even cooler. That's a great.
Yeah, isn't that crazy?
Yeah, that makes it way better.
Yeah.
Dude, it's really cool. I'm excited about seeing it run, and I'm glad that we got to play a small role in helping you to get it done.
I'd say a huge role.
Well, dude, thanks for coming by and talking to us about it.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think that making it run is what's important. So you guys go to the beach. I hear you're going to go to the beach. Go ride
absolutely.
the damn thing.
There's a big parking lot, maybe about 2 miles from here. It's like in a stadium parking lot, and I just rode it through the parking lot. It was exciting because it was the first time that I got to ride it, so that was pretty exciting. I was pretty overwhelmed both times. The beach run, it handled surprisingly well on the sand. The beach on low tide is well compact. You can't sit there for a long time because the bike starts sinking. But as long as you're moving, it's actually I felt that you could easily, you could exceed 100 miles an hour without an issue. Yeah. The bike has plenty of power. Yeah, it runs really good. Everything on it mechanically is new. Basically, the bike was a new bike with about 500 miles on it. So mechanically, it's very sound. Yeah, it's been definitely a worthwhile experience. It's been a great journey building it. Met a lot of very talented people. I would like to say I built it myself and I did everything myself, but really the credit is to the guys that just do phenomenal work. And that's there's so many people involved in this. I'm just so grateful for those people and their talent. Everyone from Horse Revival and Indian, pretty amazing. A lot of good friends helped as well. My wife being supportive, of course. It wouldn't happen without that. You know, my wife is, she's pretty fantastic. I'll say, hey, I've got this crazy idea, I've got this. She's like, great, how are we gonna move forward? You know, it's pretty amazing. I'm very fortunate. So.
Now's the time of video where most people ask for money or donations or whatever. I'm not gonna ask you for that. What I'm gonna say to you is, if you wanna see more videos and you wanna learn more of what we've learned, and you wanna see a deep dive into a lot of these topics, go to our website and buy something. We sell everything from motorcycle gear, helmets, motorcycle parts, specialized tools. We sell lots of things, and they've all taken us years to figure out what the best stuff is, and we figured it out. So go to revivalcycles.com. There's some really good stuff there. Everything from like kick-ass hand grips from Posh to Radiance LED lighting and everything in between. We want to teach you what we know, but this stuff takes time and it takes real effort to make these videos and make them good for you guys. So go support us by helping yourself to the cool stuff you already need. And it helps us because we make a little bit of profit and then we can justify doing more videos. Thanks for your support.